Ambassador David Friedman takes us on a journey through Israel's heartland of Judea and Samaria in a new movie. The film explores the rich biblical heritage of the road known as the Way of the Patriarchs. Gary Lane spoke with the ambassador about the movie, and here's that interview and a preview of the film.
In the film Route 60, the biblical highway, former U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo trace this highway that bisects the land of Israel. The 146-mile road connects modern and ancient Israel, from Nazareth, where Jesus grew up, to BeerSheva, where Abraham lived, and now is home to one of Israel's high-tech centers.
This is a place where you really can think about the continuum of life.
The documentary explores the rich 4,000-year-old biblical history along this highway that holds both historical and spiritual significance to Bible believers around the world.
We know him as Jesus of Nazareth, right? This is where he began much of his work, much of his life.
It also has been the scene of unrest, violence, and under scrutiny of world powers. Friedman and Pompeo bring a unique perspective to the movie, combining their Jewish and Christian faiths along with their experiences that directly affected this land as members of the Trump administration. David Friedman, the former U.S. ambassador to Israel, joins us for more on this fascinating film. Ambassador Friedman, Route 60 goes right through what the world calls the West Bank, but it's really biblical Judea and Samaria. Explain to us how the Jewish faith is so connected to the land of Israel.
Well, Gary, good to be with you. The Jewish faith is part and parcel, really, of the land of Israel. I mean, the covenants that were made by God to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the prophets, I mean, these covenants all really tied to the land. It's God's promise, not just that the Jewish people will flourish and become a great nation, but they'll become a great nation specifically in this part of the world, in this territory. And, you know, for thousands of years, that was a covenant that, you know, was prayed for, but unrealized. Of course, Jews have been living there for thousands of years, but normally, as guests of another nation, usually a hostile nation. Here in 1948, the Jewish people returned to their land and gained sovereignty over it. But, and this is what the point of the movie is, the real biblical heartland of Israel, the real biblical territory that we all know and we read about as kids, and the stories that we know and that we continue to study. That biblical heartland is still an area in an area where people don't go to visit very often, whereas most of the world thinks that Jews have no right to be there. They refer to it, as you say, as the West Bank, some nondescript strip of land that people, think about a bunch of people just fighting over as a real estate dispute, and no one realizes just how incredibly important and sacred and spiritual and deeply connected this territory is, this land is, to the Jewish faith and the Christian faith. And what Mike Pompeo and I do is we go from place to place, from places like, Shiloh, Bethel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, the tomb of Rachel, Hebron, these places that are really neglected, because of the political disputes. And we bring them to a wider audience. And the goal really is to help people, understand that biblical Israel is something we need to care about. We need to fight for it. We need to make sure that these holy sites are always accessible to people of the Jewish faith and the Christian faith. And these are where the values that made America great, that made Israel a great nation, these are where the values were born. And we can't lose sight of them, and we can't grow untethered from them. We have to remain connected, and the only way to really be connected is to be connected to the land. It's that important.
Well, you're the son of a rabbi, an observant Jew. Tell us what it meant to you. How did it feel to be walking in the footsteps of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
It's incredibly powerful. Look, I've studied the Bible my whole life. I grew up in a home where we study the Bible, and I recommend that people study the Bible and that they read the Bible. But there's nothing like living the Bible. There's nothing like being there. The opportunity to walk the same path that our forefathers walked, to be in the same places where so many of the great biblical episodes that really have shaped our lives and shaped our values, where they took place. There's nothing like it. I mean, even if you go there once, even if you just watch our film, you know, it is a deeply empowering experience. And I think it was true for Mike as well. I think, you know, people of the Christian faith to walk the road that where it's 100% probability that Jesus walked this road on his pilgrimage to the temple, or where Jesus stood, you know, at the Garden of Gethsemane. I mean, these are places that I'm not of the Christian faith, but, you know, I am faithful, and I understand how important it is to be in these places.
Well, it's part of the Judeo-Christian heritage. And what impact do you hope this film will have on the worldwide discussion about Judea and Samaria?
Well, I just hope people stop talking about this as the West Bank, as if it's some nondescript territory that, you know, can sort of be, you know, broken up or split up or handed over to enemies of the Jewish people, or to people who have demonstrably failed to preserve these places for the Jewish and Christian faiths. I want people just to care about this. I mean, this is not a political film. We don't offer solutions to any of the political disputes. But what we do is we make sure people understand just how biblically significant and historically significant these places are. And if people watch this film and they walk away caring about it, being inspired by it, and caring about this part of the world, caring enough about it that they want their children and their grandchildren and their progeny to always be able to access it and to gain from it, and to be and to strengthen their faith. If people care, that's our goal.
Ambassador David Friedman, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Well, if you want to understand the headlines today and understand them from a biblical point of view, what exactly is meant by the West Bank, what exactly is meant by East Jerusalem, and when you go underneath that and say, well, the West Bank means Bethlehem, the West Bank means the tomb of the Patriarchs, all of these things, this is the road that Jesus walked from Galilee to Jerusalem. These are incredible biblical sites, and to say that somehow that's not part of the nation of Israel, where you're going against biblical history. When you hear the phrase East Jerusalem, realize that means the Temple Mount. That means the Western Wall. That can never be separated from the Jewish people. So get informed and get educated. And our dear friends at TBN have put together this production. It's Route 60, the Biblical Highway, and it will be nationwide in theaters. It's a Fathom event next Monday and Tuesday. So mark your calendar, September 18th and September 19th. And if you want to go to find out how to get tickets, just go to cbnnews.com. We'll show you how you can come and get educated on the route of the Patriarchs.